If you're over 60 and sitting on a large pile of cash, ask yourself this: is it really keeping you safe, or is it slowly costing you your future? Because I get it. After a lifetime of hard work, the last thing you want is to see your money disappear in a volatile market. So you park it in cash or CDs, money markets, or savings accounts because it feels secure, predictable, and comfortable. But here's the truth that no one tells you. That safe money might be the most dangerous part of your retirement plan. You're losing ground to inflation, you're missing out on compounding, and you may be setting yourself up for bigger tax bills down the road, all the while thinking that you're playing it smart. So in this video, I'm going to answer the question that no one ever teaches you. How much is too much in cash after 60? And more importantly, what should you be doing instead? If you're new here, I'm Mark Wisniewski, president of Southern Incomes. I help people build intelligent retirement plans, not just to retire, but to retire well. One of the biggest questions I get is, how much should I be keeping in cash now that I'm retired, or now that I'm about to retire? And it's a smart question, because in today's environment with higher interest rates and more market volatility, a lot of people are parking too much of their wealth in cash, thinking that they're avoiding risk. But the truth is, too much cash can be a liability if you're not careful. Problem number one: cash loses value every year. Most people think of cash as the safest place to be, especially after 60. But the truth is, cash loses value every single year, even when it feels like you're earning interest. Let me explain. Let's say you're holding $250,000 in cash that could be in a high-yield savings account, a CD, or a money market fund earning 4 to 5% right now. On paper, that looks great compared to a few years ago when, if you remember, we were all lucky to get 0.5% on cash. But here's what most people forget. Inflation is still working against you every single day. Even with interest rates up, inflation in 2025 is still hovering around 3 to 3.5%. And when you factor in taxes on the interest you're earning, because that interest is taxed as ordinary income, you might be left with a real return that's closer to 1% or even less. That means your cash is technically growing, but your purchasing power is shrinking every day. Over time, that loss becomes more and more significant. Here's a simple way to think about it. Say $100,000 sitting in cash today might only buy $85,000 worth of goods in 10 years. If you're planning to use that cash for healthcare, long-term care, travel, or legacy reasons, it won't stretch nearly as far as you think. And unlike market risk, inflation loss is invisible. It doesn't show up on your statement. There's no news alert when your money buys less this year than it did last year. But it's happening slowly and steadily. And for retirees, it's one of the most dangerous long-term risks in the plan. So while having some cash is smart, too much cash for too long is a liability. It feels safe now, but over 10, 20, and 30 years of retirement, it could quietly eat away at the lifestyle that you worked your entire life to build. Problem number two: cash can make you feel safer than you really are. Cash is comforting. It sits in your bank account, doesn't go up or down with the market, and it's always there when you log in and check the balance. But there's a big difference between feeling safe and being financially secure. I work with people in their 60s and 70s who come in with $200,000, $600,000, and sometimes even more in cash. And their first thought is, Mark, I feel good knowing that the money is just sitting there if I ever need it. And I get it. That's a very natural reaction. But here's the problem. That false sense of security can blind you to the real risks that are quietly stacking up behind the scenes. Let me give you an example. Let's say you've saved $1 million for retirement. You want to play it conservative, so you put $300,000 in cash thinking it'll give you peace of mind and flexibility. But if the rest of your portfolio is sitting in bonds or underperforming investments, that $300,000 is actually dragging down your entire plan. Because while it's sitting still, inflation inflation is still moving, healthcare costs keep climbing, taxes are shifting, and your retirement timeline, it's getting shorter. You might not feel the impact now, but by the time you're 75 or 80, that pile of cash won't go nearly as far as you expected, and the missed growth opportunities are gone for good. Here's the bottom line. Cash makes you feel like you're doing something safe, but without a strategy behind it, it's just another form of risk disguised as comfort. You need a plan that helps your money grow, keep your taxes lower, and gives you flexibility without sacrificing long-term performance. That's real financial security. Problem number 3, you may miss compounding opportunities you can't get back. Here's something most people underestimate. Time is the most valuable resource you have in retirement, and it's also the one that you can't get more of, especially once you hit 60. That's why holding too much cash at this stage of life isn't just about lost interest, it's about missing compounding, and once you miss it, you don't get it back. Let's say you're 62 and you've got $200,000 sitting in a savings account earning 4%. It feels safe, it's liquid, but what does that actually look like over the next 10 years? At 4%, a bank account, you might end up with $296,000 before taxes. But invested conservatively, let's say a moderate portfolio earning 6 to 7%, means that same $200,000 could be $380,000 or $400,000 in 10 years. That's a $100,000 difference just by keeping your money working for you. Now, here's where it even gets more important. If you're 62 today, you've still got 30 years on your retirement horizon ahead of you. And if you miss 10 years of meaningful growth now, that could affect your income stream at 75, 80, or 85 when you're more likely to face higher expenses from healthcare or long-term care. In other words, holding too much cash right now might cost you the income that you're going to need later. That's the hidden danger. Most people think, well, I'll just invest it later when the timing's right. But let's face it, timing the market is nearly impossible, and waiting for it often turns into procrastination. And before you know it, years have gone by and that window for compounding is long gone. The truth is, retirement isn't a finish line, it's a financial marathon. And the longer that you sit on the sidelines with your money and cash, the harder it becomes to catch up. Even a small shift from too much cash to a well-balanced, tax-efficient investment plan can make a 6-figure difference over the course of your retirement. Problem number 4, cash is not tax efficient. Here's something that catches a lot of retirees by surprise. The cash in your bank account might be pushing you up into a higher tax bracket without you realizing it. Why? Well, because interest earned from most cash-based accounts like savings accounts, CDs, and money market funds is taxed as ordinary income. That means it gets added on top of everything else that you're already reporting. Your Social Security, RMDs, pension income, any part-time work, dividends, and capital gains. Well, let's say that you've got $300K sitting in CDs or a high-yield savings account earning 4%. That's $12,000 in interest income. And if you're retired and already collecting Social Security or taking RMDs, that extra $12,000 could have some serious ripple effects. It might trigger more of your Social Security to become taxable. It could push you over the IRMAA threshold, increasing your Medicare premiums. It might bump you into a higher marginal tax bracket where even capital gains are taxed at higher rates. That means the safe money in your savings account is actually creating more income that you need, and now that you're paying taxes on dollars that you don't even use. And here's the worst part. You can't opt out. This interest is taxed whether you touch it or not. Compare that with a Roth IRA, where growth is tax-free, or even a properly managed taxable investment account where capital gains can often be harvested for 0% tax brackets. The bottom line is, holding too much in interest-bearing cash may look safe, but it's one of the least tax-efficient moves that you can make in retirement. Without the right coordination, it could reduce your eligibility for tax credits, raise your healthcare costs, or limit your ability to execute smart strategies like Roth conversions. So yes, cash has a role in your plan, but only in the right amount and with the right coordination around your tax picture. Cash is important, but too much cash creates hidden risks. In retirement, you want all your money working as hard as you did, and that means building a smart, efficient plan that balances safety with long-term results. If you're over 60 and wondering how much cash much you actually need or what to do with the rest, book a call with me today. We'll run through the numbers, look at your timeline, and make sure that your retirement plan is actually working for you.